What if the reason you're unhappy right now is not because you don't have enough, but because you're holding on to the wrong thing? In this story, you'll discover a simple truth that could instantly lift a weight off your heart. And by the end, you might feel lighter than you have in a long time. Deep inside a beautiful, dense forest, a small rabbit was hopping happily along a narrow path. His soft white fur shone under the sunlight, and his tiny nose kept twitching as he smelled the fresh, damp earth. Everyone in the forest knew him. He was cheerful, energetic, always curious. One day, while exploring as usual, he suddenly stopped. Hanging above him, on a vine near the edge of the path, was a beautiful bunch of grapes. They were deep purple, almost shining red under the light. Their skin looked smooth and fresh. The sweet scent drifted gently through the air. The rabbit's eyes widened. "I have to taste those," he whispered. Without thinking twice, he jumped, and jumped again, and again. But the grapes were just a little too high. He stretched his body as far as he could. He stood on his toes. His tiny claws barely reached the air beneath the fruit. Nothing. He stepped back, breathing heavily. But he didn't give up. He ran to a nearby tree and tried climbing it to reach the vine from above. The branches looked strong enough. They weren't. Crack! The branch snapped, and the rabbit fell to the ground, landing on dry leaves. His fur became dusty, and his ears drooped in frustration. Still, he refused to quit. He searched for a long stick. After some time, he found a dry branch that seemed perfect. He lifted it with effort and tried to push the grapes down. First attempt, failed. Second attempt, failed. Third attempt, still nothing. The grapes remained untouched, swaying gently in the wind as if mocking him. Days passed, but the rabbit kept coming back. He tried climbing from a different side. He tried jumping from a rock. He even waited during heavy rain and strong winds, hoping the storm would knock the grapes down. But the vine stayed strong. The grapes never fell. Weeks turned into months, and slowly something changed. The cheerful rabbit was no longer cheerful. Every day he visited the grapes, but not with excitement anymore. Now he came with frustration, with disappointment, with quiet anger. He stopped exploring other parts of the forest. He stopped noticing the fresh grass nearby. He stopped enjoying the sunshine. All he could see were those grapes. 6 months later, new grapes grew in the same place, but the rabbit was no longer the same rabbit. He sat quietly under the vine, staring up at the fruit he once desperately wanted. His eyes no longer shined with excitement. They were tired and full of regret. One bright morning, something unexpected happened. A fox was walking down the same forest path. His fur was reddish-brown, smooth and clean. His sharp brown eyes carefully observed everything around him. Unlike the rabbit, he didn't rush. He moved calmly, confidently. As he passed, he noticed the grapes hanging above. He stopped. He looked at them closely. They do look tempting," he murmured. He stepped back and tried to jump. Too high. He tried again. Still too high. From inside a nearby bush, the rabbit was watching. His heart started beating faster. "If the fox succeeds, maybe he will share some with me," he thought. But something surprising happened. The fox did not look frustrated. He did not try again and again. Instead, he sat down under the tree and looked up quietly. After a moment, he shrugged. Those grapes are probably sour anyway, and even if they're sweet, they're not worth all that trouble." The rabbit stepped out from the bushes. "Are you giving up already?" he asked softly. The fox turned and looked at him. "And what are you doing here?" the fox asked. The rabbit lowered his head. "I've been trying to get those grapes for 6 months," he admitted. "I jumped, I climbed, I waited for storms, I tried everything, But I failed, and I still can't stop thinking about them." The fox studied him carefully. The rabbit looked different, tired, sad, no longer the energetic animal everyone knew. The fox sighed gently. "Come here," he said. The rabbit walked closer and sat beside him. "Sometimes," the fox began, "there are things in life we simply cannot reach, at least not now, and that's okay." The rabbit stayed silent. "But what's dangerous," the fox continued, "is allowing one unreachable thing to control your happiness." The rabbit slowly looked up. "For 6 months," the fox said, "you've been staring at something that refuses to come down. Meanwhile, you've ignored everything else around you." The fox pointed down the path. "Have you noticed the apple tree at the end of this road? The apples are ripe, low enough to pick, sweet and fresh." The rabbit blinked. He hadn't noticed. "You see," the fox said gently, "when desire turns into obsession, it steals your joy. If you let your wants control you, your happiness becomes the price." The forest was quiet. For the first time in months, the rabbit looked at the grapes differently. They weren't magical, they weren't special, they were just grapes, and they'd cost him 6 months of peace. "Thank you," the rabbit said quietly. "I think I understand now." He stood up. This time, when he looked at the grapes, he didn't feel anger. He didn't feel sadness. He felt free. He turned away, and for the first time in half a year, he didn't look back. As he walked down the path with the fox, he began noticing the forest again. The sunlight through the trees, the fresh grass, the scent of flowers. The world suddenly felt bigger, lighter, and full of possibilities. Sometimes we want things that are far beyond our current reach. A bigger house, a luxury car, a perfect life. There's nothing wrong with wanting more, but when we become obsessed, when one desire controls our emotions, we lose the ability to see the blessings already around us. The rabbit and the fox faced the same situation. The difference was not in the problem. The difference was in their response. Happiness is not about getting everything you want. It's about knowing when to keep trying and when to let go. If this story touched you, don't forget to leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.